Dan Dickau here, Gonzaga Nation SI. We continue to cover the transfer portal and talk about all the things that's going on. No new and interesting news in regards to commitments or to Gonzaga or players leaving Gonzaga, but there is an interesting player that will be taking a visit this weekend. As soon as I get the okay to let you know who it is. That will be shared on Gonzaga Nation SI. But I will say this, he's a point guard. He's got Gonzaga ties, and I think he'd be a tremendous fit. Again, I've said it for years, Gonzaga's best teams have always had multiple ball handlers. So if you pair another ball handler with Nolan Hickman, you've got a 2-point guard attack, and you've got the ability to play at the pace that you want. You've got multiple shooters, you got multiple decision makers, ball handlers, playmakers out there at all times. So just keep that in mind. But what I wanted to do today was just quickly run through the WCC and share just where every program lies in regards to transfer portal, with guys going out and players coming in to their program. Again, the portal grew since yesterday, so there are 1,413. So that's 1,413 players are in the portal now as of Wednesday morning when this is being recorded. But again, that's about 20% of all college basketball players. I would imagine there's going to be a few more over the next week or two before the deadline cuts off, and then you're going to start seeing a lot of movement as far as commitments to schools. Talked to a parent of a high-level power conference player last night, and conversations are going left and right. Actually, that parent and that player had a Zoom meeting actually with Loyola Marymount last night. So lots of movement going on in the transfer portal. I think more commitments will happen in the next week or two. But to run down through the WCC, we'll start with Pepperdine. Pepperdine, they've got really only one that is committed to come in so far. Touched on him the other day. Ethan Anderson started his career at USC, went to Wyoming, didn't fit there both on the court, off the court, transferred late, I believe, in January or early February. He's finding himself in Malibu at Pepperdine, but they've got 4 guys that are out. They're in the transfer portal, but then they also have Maxwell Lewis who has declared for the NBA draft. The 4 players being one of them has not committed yet. That's Majok Deng. He does not have a new home yet, but the other 3 players from Pepperdine do. Carson Basham, 6'10" big, who didn't play a lot last year, is going to NAU in the Big Sky. Mike Mitchell Jr. was a little interested or concerned when he went to the transfer portal for Lorenzo Romar. I thought he was kind of the unsung trio of those sophomores a season ago. He's actually heading to the Big Ten. He's going to go to Minnesota. So big jump for Mike Mitchell Jr. will be interesting to see and track how he plays next season. And then Jan Zedek is transferring to Chattanooga. So there's the movement for Pepperdine. For the University of Portland, the Pilots, they might have the most movement of any team right now in the WCC. We saw it when Shante Legans took over. He was active in the portal of getting guys in, and it continues on. But right as of now, they've got one guy that has committed to coming to the Bluff, and that is Yuto Yamanuchi Williams, a 6'10" big out of Lamar. He has committed to the Pilots, but they have 5 guys that are out right now. 5 guys that are out. Chika Nduka, which he's a Northwest guy. Who knows? Maybe he drops down a level. Not sure. Started some games at Portland, but I thought, being an undersized big, he's got to find the right level for him. Wyatt Lowell and Alden Applewhite have not found homes yet. 2 players from the Pilots in the portal have found new homes. That would be Mike Meadows, who, interestingly enough, is transferring within the conference. He's going to Loyola Marymount. And Moses Wood, versatile 6'8" wing, kind of do-it-all guy for Shante Legans, is moving up. He's going to the UW in the Pac-12, just up I-5. So lots of movement for the Pilots. We take a look now at Loyola Marymount. I think Stan Johnson did a heck of a job this past season. Obviously they beat Gonzaga, they beat St. Mary's, they beat BYU. The only team or program to do that since BYU has entered the league in the same season. So they've got some good positive movement in Loyola Marymount's program. But they have three guys that are coming in. Justice Hill, a point guard from LSU in the SEC, Mike Meadows from Portland, interleague transfer, as I mentioned, and Justin Wright from North Carolina Central are coming in. They have six guys actually going out. So them and Portland are the most active in the portal right now, but six guys going out. Two of them I thought are blows to Loyola Marymount in what they did last year. First being Jalen Anderson. He's been mostly a starter over his couple years in Loyola Marymount, but he's transferring to Ball State. And then Chance Stevens, that's the one that I really think hurt. I think he provided some really good stretches last year as a young freshman. He's a shooter. He can shoot it from deep. He's going to Maryland, and that's a heck of a decision because not only is he going from West Coast to East in the Big Ten with Maryland, but he was a guy that's from the Riverside, California area. So 45 minutes to an hour or so outside of LA, deciding to go all that way back east. The other one that is out with it that has found a home so far is Quan Marble. Started his career at Wyoming, was at Loyola Marymount where he battled injuries for the last 2 years, and he is now at Niagara. Three players for the Lions are in the portal without a home yet. That would be Kian Nader, James Nobles, and A.J. Williams. Neither of those three played much a season ago. Will be interesting to see if they transfer down a level, meaning to maybe a Big West school, maybe a Big Sky school, or just drop down to a Division II program. It'll be interesting to track that. Next program with a little bit of movement, not a ton, would be Santa Clara. Santa Clara has two players that have come in so far, and that's Francisco Cafaro from Virginia. 7'1", provides a lot of size on the interior. And then the second player that they brought in so far is 6'9", Johnny O'Neal from American, which kind of shows you a little bit more, again, how Herb Sendick likes to build his roster with a lot of size to compete on the interior. So those two have committed to come to Santa Clara. There are four guys that are on their way out, and that also makes it five if you count Brandon Pajimski, who's declared for the NBA draft. I'm sure he'll get some workouts. He will probably be invited to the Chicago Combine, and so we'll have to wait and see if he returns to Santa Clara or keeps his name in the draft. But the four guys that are going out, two of them have found homes. Jacob Holt, a little used big, is going to Sacramento State in the Big Sky, and Jordan Williams, a young guard who I thought showed promise, but he had injuries this past season, is going to Montana, also in the Big Sky. Two players in the portal have not found a home yet. Both starters a season ago. Jaden Bediako, the 7-footer, as well as Carlos Stewart. Stewart, I think, is the shocker to me because he had a ton of freedom within Herb Sendick's offense. He was their second leading scorer this year. He showed the ability to run a team, but also score when things broke down. I would be curious to see if he transfers somewhere closer to home. He was a Louisiana State Player of the Year in high school 2 years ago before coming to Santa Clara. So I would expect if he doesn't return to Santa Clara, he will be somewhere in the south of the United States, maybe in the SEC, who knows, but that's a blow for them. Pacific, no players have committed to them out of the portal yet, but they've got three guys that are in the portal looking for two new homes. Two of them are two of their leading scorers from a season ago. Keelan Boone, Jordan Ivy Curry, both tremendous shooters, are in the transfer portal looking for a home, as well as Cam Denson. So not a ton of movement in Stockton, California for the Tigers of Pacific. The Toreros of USD, very little movement as well. They only have one player that was in the portal, and that is Alex Garcia, and he's already committed to Wright State. So not a lot of movement yet for Steve Lavin and program. Maybe shows you that he's looking at building through high school players down in San Diego. For USF, 3 players currently are in the transfer portal. None of them have committed to their next stop. Zane Meeks, Jonas Visser, and Bryce Whitaker all in the transfer portal. Zane Meeks to me is an interesting one simply for the fact that started his career at Nevada in Reno, played 2 years there before transferring to San Francisco. He had some nice stretches this year, started a lot of games, but he's originally from Kansas. So does he, with that age and experience that he has, does he try to finish out at a higher level school like a Big 12 school, or does he go somewhere where he's going to have a similar role to San Francisco, but closer to home? That'll be interesting to keep in mind. Other school to round out the WCC, St. Mary's, as expected, because of how the culture that they have built, because of the continuity with how they kind of recruit, develop. Then you get your opportunities at St. Mary's. Only one player in the transfer portal, and that is Matt Van Komen, a 7'4" center who started his career at Utah. Oddly enough, Gonzaga did recruit him a little bit years ago, but started at Utah, had foot injuries, continued after he transferred to St. Mary's, continued to have foot injuries, but then he could never break the rotation. So he's in the transfer portal. But the big one for St. Mary's is Alex Dukas has said he's going to use his 5th year of COVID eligibility, come back. That is a huge bonus for St. Mary's. So there you have it. Lots of players in the transfer portal out of the WCC. We'll update this in the next couple weeks as more guys either enter the portal or more guys commit to WCC schools out of the portal. So for Gonzaga Nation SI, thanks for listening.